All right, guys, so I'm here with Mitch Piatnik, and as I told you guys earlier, Mitch has a very unorthodox bag. We were just kind of going over and talking about some of the stuff in his baseball bag, so I thought, why not kind of go over some of the things that are actually inside? I'm going to ask him some questions, and then he's just going to talk about some of the things that he uses. Mitch, do you want to start out with some of the things that you use, why you use them?
We'll go pitching stuff first, guys. So I'm a big believer in the weighted baseballs and the weighted drive line balls, plyo balls, all that good stuff. So pretty much every day when I warm up, just a bunch of drills with this weighted stuff and underload balls. We start off with like some reverse throws, warm up the back of the shoulder. We toss on some wrist weights, do a couple different drills with wrist weights, really get the shoulders going. And then some of these balls are heavier than a baseball. We got like a 7 ounce, a 5.5. I believe this is 4 ounces, 3 ounces maybe. And it's just putting different stresses on your shoulder, just building those muscles up so when you get in a game and you're throwing 80 pitches a night, you can last a little longer than the second or third inning, like some guys are doing. Another great drive line tool is this shoulder tube. You can get a couple different ones on like Amazon or something, but there's a bunch of different drills you can do. Same thing, warming up the shoulder, because you don't want to throw to warm up. You want to warm your shoulder up to throw.
Now, Mitch, question for you. Why is it that like you went to using some of this stuff versus just like throwing like a normal baseball? Do you feel like it's strengthened your arm?
Yeah, so pretty much when I decided I wanted to pitch was last year, because I wanted to kind of pick the indie ball team I wanted to go to that would give me the best chance to get in front of scouts, and that was Florence. They led indie ball in signing guys to contracts last year. So I figured I got to go to DriveOn. You know, it cost me like $1,500 for the week for an assessment, but I was told it was the best option to throw harder, and you have to throw at least 90, 92 these days to be even noticed as a pitcher. So I wanted to check that off the list first, and it worked for me pretty well. I went from like 83 to 86, and then I was like 90, 94 during the season, usually averaging like a 90, 91 mile an hour fastball, which is pretty good for me from where I was at.
Yeah, and then going off of that, me and Mitch were talking earlier, and I was kind of asking him, so Mitch has always had an unbelievable arm from the outfield, and I was asking him, like, has that translated for you off the mound? Has it been different for you? And he was telling me when he first got into pitching, his arm wasn't translating from throwing from the outfield to pitching. Because, like, how hard do you throw from the outfield? Like, you've been up there in numbers, correct?
Yeah,
like,
I never got clocked on like at any showcases. I didn't do any of that kind of stuff in high school or college, but I just had a much better arm from the outfield or from shortstop than I did when I would get on the mound. Another thing with DriveOn that's awesome, they kind of teach you how your body can move better, more efficiently, and get the most out of your body, because I'm a pretty good athlete. Like, I can jump high and run fast, but then it wasn't translating into moving down a mound. So these balls, you put a weighted ball in your hand, your body kind of learns by itself, even without you trying to change something consciously. It'll kind of help you throw harder just moving down the mound with a heavier baseball.
Mitch is also, he's being a little generous and nice. Going off of, like, I have another video. Mitch is unbelievably fast. He's an extreme athlete. We got him at 5'9".
Yeah.
So, like, and that's like 60 records. No one believes us, but we got the clock going over it. I'll link the video above talking about that video. But just going off of that, like, Mitch from the outfield too. I would say Mitch is 95 plus from the outfield at least. But again, didn't translate for him, so he needed to figure out something else to do. And so that's kind of like why I like to talk about some of this driveline stuff, at least for him, because it's benefited him. It's kind of helped him with injury stuff too, right? Would you say?
Yeah. When we went over our assessment at DriveOn, they sat down with me at the end of the week, and they basically told me the positions my arm was getting in, I was going to be a very low-risk arm injury guy, which is what I wanted, because I don't, like, my main thing is playing center field. I don't want an arm injury on the mound to affect my better chance of getting to the big leagues as a center fielder. So that was nice to know too, that I wasn't really susceptible to injury no matter what kind of weighted ball that they put in my arm.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into some of the other things that you got going on in this bag.
Another thing with pitching before we move on to hitting stuff, pocket radar, $300-400, Bluetooth to your phone. If you're not measuring how hard you're throwing, no matter what the effort percent is, I think you're messing up. You need to know, like, if your arm's not feeling so good on that recovery day, you should still know how hard you're throwing, or even on your bullpen days, even in your live BPs, like, you should know how hard you're throwing, because if you change something and it feels good, like it might have felt good, but you might have thrown 2 miles an hour slower or 2 miles an hour harder. Like, you need to know and measure these things, because you only have so long during an off season to get better. So I think a pocket radar is super important. And I go, like, just as far as warming up, y'all have these Theraguns and stuff that are $300-400. They're really nice, but I mean, you can go on Amazon and get a vibrating foam roller, which does kind of the same stuff for like 40, 50, 60 bucks. This is super important. All the guys, when we play with the Reds, we spent 30 minutes out on the turf in the training room, in the workout room, just warming up our bodies, rolling around on foam, just catching up, talking about the day before. It's an everyday thing that you got to do, especially when you get to pro ball. You're not gonna have a choice. You're gonna be on this every single day.
Yeah, and kind of going off of that too, I think that's way under talked about is like the recovery. I know that like when I was with the Reds, you get to like 100 games, 120 games of the season, and your body's exhausted. And like I feel like personally, I didn't stretch out enough. I wasn't into recovery as much as you, and I feel like in the long term, like this has benefited you, and it's kind of turned you into even a better athlete. You stretching and going through all that recovery.
Because if your goal is the big leagues, the stats are going to tell you when you hit 35, that's when you start to decline. That's when your body starts to break down. So you got to stay ahead of that because it's going to happen eventually. Father Time is undefeated, so it's your choice if you want to start feeling bad at 29 or if you just don't want to feel bad until you're 39. So you got to take care of your body. I mean, it's one of the few things that you got to take care of to last in baseball.
Mitch, you have can you talk about this? I didn't know what this was. I had heard about this, but I wasn't necessarily sure what this was.
This will be the last thing we got on pitching. This is called a pitch tracker. It's from Diamond Kinetics. Pitch Logic makes one. They've got a cheap one, I think, at Dick's Sporting Goods. Don't buy that one, it doesn't work. But you just basically plug it in, drop it on the charger, charges up pretty quick, and you just throw a bullpen with it, and it gives you all the spin ratings, it gives you the miles per hour, it gives you the spin efficiency, the vertical, horizontal break. You can look up on the app what those things mean if you don't know what those mean, but it's more numbers that you need to keep track of your progress. It's just, you got to keep track of stuff. It's a good tool to do that. Moving on to more of the hitting stuff. This is where you can get kind of creative. Everyone's swing is different. I think a short bat's super important if you're making an adjustment. The shorter the bat, the easier the move is going to be, whatever you're working on that day. It's a good thing to warm up with. It's lighter if you don't want to go full swings and be hard on your body at the beginning of the day, or you want to take a bunch of swings, but you don't want to be hard on your body before a game. You can just go, half swings with it's really good. It's just a good tool to have in your bag. There's a lot of things you could use it for.
And even for youth players, like I feel like that's something that I like because you can use, like you're saying, one-hand, two-hand drills. Like there's so many different drills.
Yeah, one-hand drills are good with that.
You can look up and do, and I mean those are all online. You can find those anywhere. But again, it's all going to be adapted to like the type of athlete you are, the type of athlete that your kids are, and kind of build with them, play with them. Some kids like the stuff. Sometimes it works for the kids. Sometimes it doesn't.
It'll work for you. It won't. Yeah. It doesn't work for you. It's all good. This is a wiffle ball bat. Some of y'all think that's kind of funny. I use it. I do lessons here at Extra Bases Academy, and I give it to the kids all the time, but I use it today hitting with Shane, trying to figure out something. I was trying to figure out a move. I was having a little bit of, my elbow was leaking a little bit. It was costing me some time on decision making, so I figured, we got to put this light bat in my hands, because if I can't make the correct move with maybe an 8, 10 ounce, whatever this thing is, bat, I'm not going to be able to do it with a 30 ounce bat, So I'll just go wiffle balls. You can get a bag of these at Walmart for like $10. The wiffle ball bat's cheap. There's no reason not to get it. There's a bunch of fancy, expensive gadgets out there, but it's hard to beat just a wiffle ball bat and a wiffle ball.
I agree with that.
Now this is new for me. It's a dog toy. You can get these at Walmart and PetSmart and all that stuff. This really helped me a lot. I did the short one. I was having trouble. I was kind of casting early, as y'all might know that vocabulary. I was casting early, and it was making me throw the ball into the side of the cage. So eventually I had to get to a point where I could throw this ball up the middle instead of that way. You kind of just try to stay on the line. Because before, like I said, I was going this way with it. I'll put this in a lot of kids' hands, and they'll do the same thing.
And like going off of that, I was trying to do this earlier, and I have trouble with this drill. I feel like it's something that is going to take some time for you guys to get used to. Like Mitch going first one right back up the middle, like that's super difficult. So it's something that it looks easy, but you guys give it a try, and it's actually a lot harder, and you're going to see a lot better results using it more often.
Because all the swing is a bunch of movements, and you just got to perfect the movements. People just grab their bat and just start swinging and hitting front toss, and they say, okay, 5 rounds and I'm good, but you really don't get better if you're not working on specific moves. Then you have the longer one, which is much more difficult. I like to go 2 hands with this one and kind of go through my motions really slow and then really push out at the end. Because if you cast it all with this one, it's going to shoot to the side of the cage. So this one's a super good tool.
Are you trying, so when you're using this, are you trying to go up the middle, the other way, pull? Does it depend on what you're working on that day?
The middle is ideal. If you pull it in the air, or if you go gap to gap in the air or up the middle, that's okay, as long as it's not like down the line or like down the line to the left fielder or right at the right fielder, as long as it's fairly in the middle of the field.
Okay.
That just means you're working through the middle. If it goes on the sides, you're either coming across your body or you're casting early. So it's an awesome tool. It won't be good for your ego, but it'll be good for your swing if you can get past it.
Nice. Do you find yourself using that, every time you're hitting, or is it just kind of depending on?
Yeah, like when I come in here early for a lesson, if I'm here a little early, like 30 minutes, 20 minutes early, I'll just grab the bucket of tennis balls and just do it for a while. It's easy to pick up. It's easy to do. You don't need to warm up your body to do it. It's not hard on you. It's just something that you can do. You can do it against a wall at your house. You can use it anywhere. You can just throw it to your dog if you have a dog. It's a dog toy. That's what it's for.
True to that.
Then we got the heavy bat. I think this thing is awesome. This is a 35-inch, 40-ounce bat. And basically, you can't swing a heavy bat incorrectly and then have a good result with the baseball. It's going to force your body to figure out how to swing this thing correctly because it is so heavy. We put I'll talk about it next, we put the blast motion on this. Got it in here.
That's it.
So this is a sensor. I got this for $75 on like a holiday deal. I want to say they're like $1.50 normally. I mean, I've had this for maybe 3 or 4 months now. This has helped me big time. I've made huge strides just because of this. It measures every angle you can think of with your bat. I don't look at the exit velo. I don't look at the launch angle. Those are crap. Don't look at those numbers. You want to get in the right positions. You don't need to measure your exit velo against Mike Trout if you're 12. But your bat should get in the same position. You're not going to hit the ball as far or hard, but you got to be in the same position as these great guys are in. And putting this on the heavy bat would tell me my swing was a lot better with the heavy bat than my normal bat. So I think the heavy bat's a great tool. Blast motion's a great tool also.
Do you find it useful for kids that are younger? Or
Yeah,
do you think it's...
I put these on the kids after I have a few lessons with the kids, and I kind of just let them do their thing, see how their swing works. And if I think there's an adjustment that I should tell them to make, whatever it is, spread out, put your hands up higher, whatever the specific thing is, I'll make sure to put this on and read off my phone what it says, because I don't want to tell them something I think is correct, and then it pop up on my phone that it's way worse. So it basically validates what you're telling these kids or what you're trying to do yourself. And if you're like a college guy, this would be great. When you get to colleges, those coaches really just want to win most of the time. They don't care too much about development. They just want to win there. Their job's on the line just like yours is. So you have this thing on your bat and your college coach is telling you something that is not correct, which is a lot of the times. You can just be like, hey man, listen, like my blast says like that's not the right adjustment for me. My swing works better when I do this, and you have proof now. You can't just go your word against his word because his word's going to trump yours because he's the coach. So this is a great thing to validate a lot of stuff.
And going off of that too, and this could be a separate topic, but me and Mitch have had many conversations about this. But you guys are gonna have so many coaches that are gonna have you guys doing all these different drills with all these different things, tell you guys what looks good, what doesn't look good. But what it comes down to, and this is for every baseball player, if it's something that feels good and you're getting good results, don't change it, right? Like this is obviously like Mitch is a different guy right now when it comes to some of this stuff because he knows what he needs to do and he's on the verge of, potentially making it to the big leagues. So he knows there's more minuscule things that he's trying to accomplish. But for you younger generation kids, you high school kids, if it's something that feels good and you're getting good results, but your coach is telling you to change things, if it feels comfortable to you, don't change it. Stay with it. I think coaches will understand if they're getting good results, why change some of those things?
A good coach isn't going to jump on you and just change stuff right away. Those are the ones that just kind of have a very set mindset. They only teach one thing, or they teach what they did in the big leagues if they played in the big leagues. A lot of times that's wrong. That's why that blast, again, is a great thing to have, because you can just say, listen, man, I'm sorry, but the measurements and angles that I know are correct are telling me that what you're telling me is wrong. So I think it's going to bridge the gap between players and coaches the more people use stuff like that. Diamond Kinetics has one too. Blast motion I've heard better things about than the Diamond Kinetics, but both work, I'm sure. Another thing with swings, I think it might be the single most important thing. You can go get this at Walmart. This is the owner's here. I don't know how much you got it for. Couldn't have been that much. It's just a bunch of plastic.
Find it on Amazon. Everything.
Yeah, Amazon. We got one sitting on the phone right now.
Yeah.
You gotta video your swings. If a coach tells you don't video your swings, don't look at video, he has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. That's just one thing.
Amen to that.
This is the most important thing. If you look at all big leaguers when they land, they're all in the same spot. If they're any good, they're all in the same spot. You go back to 1960 when so-and-so's landing, and he, back in the Red Sox days, Ted Williams or something, they all landed in the same spot. They're all getting to the same positions. They're doing their own things, their own styles maybe, but they're all getting in very similar positions. And if you're not getting in some of them or all of them, you're not going to hit. When you might hit in high school or something, or maybe college, like I was in a lot of bad positions in junior college. I hit right around 300, but I had 3 extra base hits, and I thought I was going to play, and I got to the minor leagues next year, hit 210. It's that better pitching is going to break down if you're not in those right positions. But videoing your swings and making sure you're in the correct positions is the most important thing.
And that's huge. And one of the things too is if you watch a swing and you're on your phone, your phone's not going to lie to you. If something doesn't look right, it's probably because it's not right. You're going to get that instant feedback, which is what everybody wants and what everybody needs.
No doubt. The last thing we got in here is the old tape measure. So I just use this for running. We used it today to make sure the mound was at 60 feet. Just throwing a live pen to Shane. Just wanted to get his feedback on some of my off-speed stuff I'm working on. But this is good, man. If you're trying to get faster, you gotta measure it. You gotta video it. You gotta get the right times. These are cheap too. I mean, you can buy all this for what you buy your massage gun that you got for Christmas from your parents. But always measuring stuff and looking at video is basically my whole theory with getting better at baseball. And this off season, I've really focused on that, and I haven't in the past. And I feel like I've made more strides this off season, just focusing and measuring stuff and trying to get better every day, and knowing on a piece of paper or on my phone on the measurements that it says, yeah, you got better today, rather than just thinking, oh, I feel good. Because I've had off seasons where you swing off the tee for 4 months and man, I moved my hands up like the coach told me in high A, and I feel really good, and you're just hitting off the tee. You're not challenging yourself. You're not looking at your swing. You got to measure stuff. You got to challenge yourself. I'll do a lot of live at-bats against my roommate, Chase Kuhn. He played college baseball, has a good arm. We'll go down to the city field. It's not a nice field. It's a decent mound. I'll get it 50 feet instead of 60, and he'll just blow some stuff by me and really challenge my swing. So I know if I make an adjustment, I go down there to validate it. And if it works in that sped-up environment, then I know I'm doing the right things here. Just tee work, front toss, machine here. So you got to validate what you're doing to make sure it's correct, so you're not wasting time. Yeah. Because we've wasted a lot of times in our career.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. If you guys like this video today, let me know in the comment section below. If you guys haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. If you guys have any questions, like I said, Mitch is on the verge of hopefully, getting back with an affiliated team, a Major League Baseball team. He's going to be grinding this year. Let me know in the comments if you have questions for him. I'll, text him, hit him up, and then I'll have him try to answer to you guys. I'll answer for him. And if you guys, want other videos like this, I have friends that are in baseball still. I'll try to get them to do similar videos because, every kid's different. But Mitch, I do appreciate your time today. And for you Developing Prospects family, you guys keep grinding, and we'll be talking to you soon with another video.
Also, one more thing, guys. Buy some tape, because if your hands start bleeding and you leave the cage because you're soft, just tape up your hands. I'm not that tough, but it's pretty easy to just tape up your hands and keep swinging, so don't be soft. Buy tape.
Thank you. I like that. That's good. Yeah. Amen to that.
I forgot to